This is Dan Tortora of Wake Up Call here with Nate Champion, the head coach of the Moyne College Dolphins men's basketball team for Division II in your first season as the head coach, and obviously coming back as an alum of the program. So how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and tremendous success to start off. I mean, your first season, just what you could say about that initial gratifying moment of seeing your team rise to where they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of preparation on both things, both players and coaches, but our guys have really embraced the new style of play that we bring, and it's a lot faster and a lot quicker, and our guys have really embraced that and have taken to it, and it's obviously helped us win some games this year, and I think our guys have just kind of taken on their own identity.
Yeah.
New guys are in new roles, and for us it's been a learning process throughout the year, but again, it's a great accomplishment to get to where we've been, and hopefully we still have a lot more basketball to be played.
To have a coaching shift, there's usually that drop off. There's usually, if you made the playoffs and maybe now you don't, or you don't make it as far and whatnot. Why did the drop off not happen in your opinion?
I think a big part of it was just our leadership. We have a bunch of seniors, 8 seniors on the team, and guys that have all played in the NCAA tournament. And I think all but 3 guys have been in the NCAA tournament, and all those 3 guys are new incoming players. And so for us, it was just that experience, knowing what it takes to get to where we need to be, and the grind of the season, and being able to handle that and kind of overcome adversity at times. And I think they've done a great job of that, and our seniors have been a big part of it.
What has challenged you the most this season with your first season as the head coach of the team?
I think just being a new guy. They're used to Coach Beeline and what he did, and our players, obviously, I think there was a little pushback at the beginning, but for us it was just getting to know them and understanding what they can do, what they can't do, and being able to put them in positions to be successful out on the basketball floor, and then also off the floor. And you guys realize how much work goes into being a head coach, but it's all a learning process, and I'm really enjoying it.
For you to go through this process, like you said, there's some initial pushback. How did you navigate that and turn it into a positive?
I think a lot of it is showing statistics. Honestly, numbers don't lie, and for us it was just kind of one of those things where how can we show that what we're doing is going to work while what they did last year is still working.
Right.
And being able to get them to understand that, yes, you had success doing this last year, but I think we can have more success doing this. And so a lot of it was, trial and error, and a lot of it was just getting to know them and developing relationships with these players for them to trust us enough to buy into what we're doing. I think off the floor, our staff did a great job with that. Just getting to know each person on a more personal level and going from there.
Navigating today's student athlete as opposed to, when we had even from when you were a student athlete to now, social media more and more so takes up people's time. They're on it. There's an instantaneous connection to it. Some people buy into their own hype. Some people let it, kind of bring them down a little bit if it's negative. But from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram to Snapchat and so on and so forth, positives and negatives come very quickly. And people try to build their brands while they're doing this. How do you navigate that as a head coach, knowing that social media, 10, 12, 15 years, we're not talking about this. When I was coming up playing in high school, there was no social media. When I'm in college, it was like, oh, Marywood University, try this Facebook thing. And you could only talk to the people and connect with the people from your university that had already signed on. It wasn't this giant world. So how have you navigated the fact that from even when you played, which wasn't that long ago, to now, social media is, it's everywhere, it's in their lives.
It's exploded.
Yeah.
I mean, from when I was here, the Snapchat was just then, it just came out.
Yeah.
I think it was my senior year, junior year. It just came out, and it was, you took a picture, sent it, and it was gone.
Yeah.
And now it's, marketing and this and that, which, like you said, it's positive, it can be a negative as well, but I think the biggest thing for us has just been addressing it, knowing, hey, social media, you may be on it, you may not. there may be positives on it about you, there may be negatives. But what you have to do is control, what you put out there and what you use as far as, your content and your page, And I think for a lot of our guys, that's just what we did. We tried to teach them as much as we could on, how to handle yourself off the floor, and that includes social media now. It's not just up on campus, it's behind your fingers too.
Has it been difficult to connect with, I know you're a young coach, but to connect to people these days, because it seems that we've shifted as a society, and some people are touchy about everything. Some people are kind of desensitized and they don't feel anything. So, how do you, going off of social media and kind of how everything's at our fingertips now, how do you handle that as a coach, and is it difficult to connect with some players?
It's funny you say I'm a young coach, so you would think I'd kind of be in tune to all those different things and the new trends and this and that, but I find myself behind in the times, and I find myself trying to figure out what certain language means and, what they mean by what they say, and it's not always easy, but I think for our players, it's a little bit of an easier way to connect, because if I'm on Twitter at night and I can, find something that I see a guy struggle with, in practice, and I can see an NBA guy do it, or a 10-second clip of somebody else, I can send it to him and be, hey, this is what I mean by this, or hey, you can look at this and really learn. We try to implement this into our system, and,
right.
So you can use it as a positive. And it's not always easy to connect with guys that are really embracing that world, but for the most part, our guys are pretty in tune with what's going on now.
As you move forward here, what can you say about maybe some of the leadership that was already here that you could build upon? What did that do for you, and how does that maybe build some blocks toward where you're heading? Obviously, you want the season to continue, but as you look ahead, what type of leadership was already here to help you out a little bit?
I think, obviously there's been some players on our team that have been to the Elite Eight and know exactly what it takes to be that team.
Yeah.
Tom Brown and O'Shea Gary were on that team, and they haven't lost their conference tournament or a conference regular season since they've been here. Tom Brown's won all 4 years, and I think the biggest thing I've learned from the guys that we've had is you have to get the right guys to be successful. Whether that's a transfer, whether that's a freshman, whether that's a junior college player, it doesn't matter where they came from as long as they can fit into what you want and where you're wanting to go.
Yeah.
Because if you have, it's the old adage, that apple spoils the bunch, right? So you have to really do your homework going forward, especially with the big recruiting class coming in, on avoiding that one bad apple. And I think, for us, we try to do our homework as much as we possibly can by calling every coach and this and that. We're trying to get guys that really like to play the game and really like to get in the gym and improve. And if you have that type of mentality as well as up in the classroom, being able to succeed up there, then you have a pretty good player. And if you can grab a bunch of those, then I think your team can be pretty successful.
How do you recruit? Going off of that, how do you make sure you're recruiting the right kids? What type of checklist do you go through, or what type of things do you maybe look at to help you differentiate? Because we all kind of have to have that. You put it all into a funnel, and you got to have something good come out of it. So what are your maybe, your warning signs, your red flags? How do you figure out, is this our guy?
I think the biggest thing for me is just conversation. When you talk to your prospective student athletes, what are they saying? Is it all about them? Is it all about their team? Is it, how hard they're working? Or is it kind of, well, this didn't go well for me, that didn't go well for me, kind of woes me. And that's a big sign, either a red flag or a green flag. It can go either way. It can make or break a prospective student athlete's, chances to be here. But at the same time, you have to make sure that you're first off. You have to make sure they're going to be okay in school. And then after that, it's really about attitude and effort they give on the floor. I always want guys that just genuinely like to play basketball. It's a lot harder to get guys that just play basketball to improve and reach their full potential than a guy that genuinely loves the game, because they'll do whatever it takes to get there. And I think so it's a big part of it. Obviously, not every kid is going to be that, and you're not going to have 15 guys that are the same people. So being able to adapt and find little characteristics that can gel together is going to be the biggest challenge for us.
That coming from Nate Champion here with us at Moyne. Before we step aside at this time around, this behind us, everything in front of us, in less than 10 years, I have seen this entire sports complex continue to evolve. Every season, there's an evolution. As you walk into Ted Grant Court, something has changed. Again, you haven't played that long ago here at Moyne. How much has it changed? And I mean, I feel like I'm in the Ritz or something like this at this point. I mean, it's got to feel good to bring a prospective student in here.
It's great. I mean, we have, in my opinion, the nicest facility in the Northeast 10, and if not the best, one of the top in the Northeast region, and possibly even the country. We have a great facility inside these doors, and obviously, the lobby and everything has changed. But to be honest, the school is evolving. The school is growing, and you're starting to see new buildings up on campus. And this year is unbelievable. I didn't have this when I played, and that was only a few years ago. So, it's great to see the school continuing to grow and continuing to improve, especially for such a young university like Moyne. The best days are definitely ahead of them, and this is a great start.
Your last name obviously equals where you hope to be. How does that fuel you? How does that drive you? And what maybe plays off words do you have with knowing that, it's a Nate Champion, you want to be a champion, you want to have a championship mentality. So do you try to play off your own name, and does that kind of, in a way, make you smile a little bit when you are a coach and you're out there trying to excel?
It makes me smile when people that I meet in the community are like, oh wow, you're a basketball coach and your last name's Champion, how fitting. But for me, it's kind of always been just like a drive that I've had inside me. I've been a competitor since day one. My family always tells me that it's no fun to play rec sports with you because you always have to win. And so I think I just have that internal drive and passion for success. And obviously this year has been a great first year, but I'm hoping that we can continue and get 3 more championships under our belt. So I think going forward, obviously I want to continue the tradition that has been going on here for the past few years, and continue to build and be a national competitor.
That coming from Nate Champion, first year as the head coach of Moyne, but obviously an alum of the men's basketball program for Division II. Of course, myself, Dan Tortora. This has been Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in front of something that I would love to steal and put in my own studio. A little Wake Up Call logo behind that. Nate, as always, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it.